Myles goes out there and leads by example. We have another star in town that people love to death that does the exact same thing. Jose Ramirez does not lead by standing in front of everybody else and screaming from the mountaintops. No, Jose Ramirez goes out there and plays his ass off, and people are like, that's what it means to play in Cleveland. Myles does the same thing, and it's a problem. And it's only a problem when things aren't going your way. Right? People want to pick and choose with Myles not being a just vocal leader of when that's going to be an issue. Myles not being a vocal leader is not a problem right now. That has nothing to do with this. Your defensive end doesn't need to be the loudest guy in the room, doesn't need to be the one leading people into charge. You don't see that almost anywhere else in the NFL. It comes from your head coach and it comes from your quarterback. The two guys that really feel like they're leading. And right now, you have neither of them. You have neither of the guys being what it feels like people are willing to go into war for and listen to every single word they say. I can't blame Myles for not being, every time he goes out there, people go, oh, that's how you're supposed to play. That guy's a freak of nature. He shows us what it means to work hard every single day that he's on the field. Again, I feel like you got to feel bad for him. If we just pin it back on Kevin Stefanski and say he's never done it, guys, he has done it. Like, he's made offenses look good. Offense looked good under Joe Flacco. I'm not saying it looked great. It looked good under Joe the first time he was here. The offense looked good with Baker Mayfield. The scheme looked like it worked. Like, I think in a lot of ways, Myles knew what he was signing up for in the fact that Deshaun's contract was on the books. He watched Jameis Winston run a completely different offense last year that wasn't the Kevin Stefanski offense. Like, okay, we're going to go back to that, and we've seen the fruits of the Stefanski offense before. I don't know that anybody can sit there and just say, well, this is the expectation. Like, the offense was going to look this bad. And I don't even think on paper the offense looks as bad as it is right now. I don't care what you think of Dylan Gabriel. I don't care what you think of Joe Flacco or Jerry Jeudy. On paper, the offense is bad. It's not as bad as they're showing it is right now. A lot of that is execution on the field. Like, I just don't think that if we pin this up to Kevin Stefanski's offense hasn't worked before and he hasn't been a winning coach, because he's gotten you to the playoffs 2 times. Again, you can make all the arguments about the way the roster was built. That's not him. It wasn't his team. He took a team. He put them in the playoffs, and he got you a play away from an AFC championship game. Kevin has won games before. There is something to look at to say, okay, Kevin has put on paper the fact that he can make the Browns a winning team. It's not like you were expecting him to go out there and win you a playoff game this year. I was expecting him to make the Browns look half competitive, going back to the system that he built, going back to the one thing that he feels there should be a level of trust in running with the quarterback that, I don't know, feels like he kind of hand-selected. And all of that has gone out the window. It's like, something feels like it kind of needs to change in the way that it's going. And I can't blame Myles for thinking that this wasn't the way the season was going to go. Guys, most of us looked at it, didn't think this is the way that the season was going to go. Might be ugly. You might still be sitting at the same record. I think a lot of people probably said 2-6 at the bye. Not in the way that you've lost it, though. We're to the point where, we're legitimately bringing up the question of whether or not the Browns should be trading or looking to trade Myles Garrett right now. Right, just put on a 5-sack performance. We're going into the bye week. We're going into the trade deadline. Myles' value, at least when we talk about this year, is never going to be higher than it has ever been. This is where it gets kind of confusing for me. It's like, okay, so we watch a guy dominate, and we can feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for the fact that Myles Garrett is a Cleveland Brown. I feel bad that the Cleveland Browns are putting a poor performance offensively alongside of him where you have a competitor that cannot win football games. I don't feel bad that you're a part of the organization. I want you to be a part of the organization. It's the type of player that once I get, I don't want to let go. I don't want to walk. Like, at this point, the fact that people are throwing out the fact that, you can go through and we should trade Myles now. It's like, what does trading Myles legitimately get you at this point? Let's say, 2 first-round picks and then a fine player alongside of it, right? You're not getting a superstar if you're getting 2 first-round picks. Let's say you get another usable piece alongside 2 first-round draft picks. Okay, well, the team that you're trading him to, considering Myles has a no-trade clause, is going to be a team that is ready to compete right now that Myles can go win a Super Bowl with. That is the only chance that you have that Myles will actually move anywhere, even if he wanted to. Don't know that he does. I would assume he probably would, but it's going to be a contender. That team's going to be contending for this year. I'd be almost willing to say certainly probably contending for a team next year. So you're getting a late first-round pick twice, maybe back-to-back drafts. Maybe you get it this year and next year. Okay, so I have 3 first-round picks to try to rebuild. I'm not going to draft Myles Garrett. Chances are I'm not drafting Myles with any of those. One of those picks, if not both of those picks, could very well be busts. They could just be players who don't pan out, whether it's Andrew Berry drafted them or whether Michael Markoch is the GM of the Cleveland Browns tomorrow morning and decides that he gets to use the draft picks and take whoever succeeds Myles in the capital that you get for him. Doesn't really matter. Could still be a bust. Could still not be a play. I don't understand that when we look at things, you're just like, well, it's only going good for Myles and it's bad for the Browns right now. So you know what? Let's just accept more failure. Right? Let's go into a further failure state of just, you got to rebuild this thing the right way. What does rebuild this thing the right way mean? You want offensive linemen? You have draft picks to take them. You need a quarterback? You have a draft pick to take them. Need weapons? Congratulations. You have draft picks to get all of these things. I get it. You're not sitting at, you are sitting on like 12 picks, but you're not sitting on 12 first-round picks, and not all of those guys are going to hit. That's what free agency's for. Not every part of a roster is just going to be flat-out beautiful. Look at any team, Super Bowl winning teams. They aren't perfect rosters. They're fine rosters. They're good. They're really good. They have elite players. And where they don't have elite players, they put usable players. I'm not saying this team's ready to compete this year, certainly. I don't know if this team will find a way to be ready to really compete and try to even make a playoff push next year. The way that I'm looking at it right now, a lot of holes to address. It's like trading Myles doesn't go anywhere here. Setting up a whole rebuild guarantees nothing. If being a Browns fan, at the very least, since watching since 1999, if you haven't gotten that you can go through and stink and it doesn't necessarily you get to success at some point, I don't know what we've learned over the past 26 years. It's dead in our face that that's not a possibility. Right? And there's a lot of cap things that go into it, but Albert Breer was on Afternoon Drive earlier on today, as he is every Tuesday, and talked about whether or not the Browns should make that trade.
I mean, it would take some, cap gymnastics to do that. You'd have to restructure some guys, and it might be a little messy. And I would just argue that, in a lost season, this might be the time to do it. You're going to have to, at some point, reckon with the proration on his contract. And I don't know, guys. I just think of this in timelines, right? And I look at it right now, and if I'm the Browns, the way I'm looking at this is, can I get good enough, fast enough, to maximize what's left of Myles Garrett's prime? I look at the Browns, the hole at quarterback, a hole at receiver, a hole at tackle, and I'm not sure that they can get good enough fast enough to maximize what's left of Myles Garrett's prime. And so it might be one of those situations where the best thing for everyone involved is to find him a new home.
And again, it's going to take gymnastics, dealing with the cap, like Albert Breer said, but this is the thing, getting good enough, fast enough, guys, you're fixing one side of the ball. If this team is just, let's just be frank about it. If they're the Tennessee Titans, take any good player you have and just ship them off. Now, the Titans have none of them, but the Browns do. Sure, if you're that bad and you have so many holes to fill on both sides of the ball, any player that is of any value who is above the age of 26, go ahead and ship them off. But at this point, it's okay, well, we're watching an elite defense, right? The scoreboard might not show that every single week, but you're watching an elite defense play football. Okay, so you need to fix the offense, not even to a point to make them elite. You need to fix the offense to a point where I can watch them, where they can at least make you competitive in football games against good teams. There's still plenty of room to actually have that growth, and it starts at getting the quarterback right. The Browns are not just a desolate wasteland of talent. They have talent. There's talent scattered throughout the roster. As bad as Jerry Jeudy has been, I don't think Jerry Jeudy's a god-awful wide receiver. Just not a wide receiver one. And certainly when the next best guy behind him is Isaiah Bond, who I can probably count his receptions if I had to take a guess. Don't have the number in front of me, but I'm almost willing to bet I can count him on one hand this year. Okay, it's bad. It's horrible. You have to find other ways to address those problems. You're not that far away from actually being a semi-competitive football team on a talent standpoint. You have things to address, just to get to a level of competitive, you're not that far off. Is it 4? Is that what, Michael, you're telling me 4 receptions?
He has 11.
Okay. 11 receptions? 11 targets?
He has 4 this month. It says in October. It says for his career, he has 11 receptions on 30 targets.
I feel like somebody's lying there. Maybe not. Either way. Okay, so I can almost count it on 2 hands. He's still bad, okay? How many yards does that include? It's got to be, are we sitting sub 100?
123.
Okay, yeah, enough said. There's nothing behind Jerry Jeudy. There's nothing there. Okay, even if Cedric Tillman was there, it would still be terrible. You just need to put pieces in place. It's not like this team is so bad you just blow everything up. You find the quarterback, and I guarantee you, maybe it's not with Kevin, I don't know, but you guarantee you find the quarterback, things look better. Myles, there's going to be people frustrated with him fresh off of this. At the end of the day, yeah, it's going to be a guy that sure you requested a trade. He also put together ridiculous numbers. And one way I do understand I don't feel bad for a guy that's making a boatload of money and $40 million. There's bigger problems in the world. I understand that, right? I'm not out here making $40 million, guys. Okay, I understand that. Nobody needs to cry tears for a guy who's going to have a massive paycheck and a massive bank account at the end of the day. Also, money doesn't solve everything. You want to be successful in your career, and I think guys at this level wanting to find just a way to win games and be a competitor, and that's what really drives them. You can find financial success without feeling like you're achieving career success. Without being happy in your career, you can get paid a paycheck. And there's plenty of people out there who can attest to that, who bring in a pretty penny but don't love their job. Right now, it feels hard for Myles to love his job. Sure, money might make up for that a little bit. I still look at it as the person that I'm watching, the guy who wants to go out there and win and is doing everything in his power. And the defense really, for the most part, is doing everything in their power to try to ensure that you're getting wins on the board when it's not being answered the other way. And worse than you expected. It's you feel bad for that at some point. Guys are putting their bodies on the line. Carson Swessinger might be heading to the IR right now with a high ankle sprain because he's putting his body on the line when it feels like you're getting no help on the other side. It's a game at the end of the day. They get to play the game they love. But I think that at the very least, I turn to my GM and I turn to my coach and I go, guys, you're supposed to put a competitive product on the field. If not competitive, entertaining. You have one job right now, and neither of you are doing it. Andrew's not doing a ton for his job, and this team isn't really playing up to help Andrew out right now, and certainly Kevin is not doing the entire scope of his job. Myles is the one person that I look at right now. If it's nobody else, it's certainly Myles, and I go, he's taking care of business, right? You put him on any other team, it's going to succeed. Can't really say that for a lot of other guys on this team right now. Even the guys coming off the other edge, the defense looks good. Myles is still outworking and outperforming every single person there. He's got the right to be frustrated.